Man, these guys are going to send me a bill for like $80,000 in the mail. I am not going to check my mail. I'm going to change my name and move.
Just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Great vibe.
October 2005, I was asked to be Mitsubishi's test driver for their brand new rally supercar for the street at the time, which was the Lancer Evolution 9. And they said, well, we need somebody who can drive the car, you can drive it at speed, we're going to have you on a race course, and we need somebody who will ring the car out. And really drive it hard and drive it right. And I said, okay, no problem. What else do you need? And they said, well, we're calling you because we also need somebody who can go on camera. And I thought, okay, perfect, I'll take it. So they fly me out to Willow Springs International Raceway, which is a great classic race track from, it goes back to the 70s at least, probably farther than that. It's maybe a couple hours north of Los Angeles. And they bring out two identically prepared cars. And I drive them both on the Willow Springs main race course, the full-size course, and then we go to a really tight, curvy, twisty track called Horse Thief Mile. It's actually built into the side of a mountain at Willow Springs. It's a big complex with like 3 tracks there. It's a barrel of fun. So we do most of our shooting on Horse Thief Mile, even though I was on both tracks. And they bring Leonard Posner was one of the execs at Mitsubishi. He comes out. They have the production company come out. They bring me out. The manufacturer, Mitsubishi, brings a bunch of their guests out. And they have catering and, got a big jib, overhead jib with an overhead camera. And they give me my lines and we go through and make this video. And it's a sales video for the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9. And they have 2 identically prepared silver Lancer Evolution 9s. I'm supposed to drive them both. One of them is just the car. And they didn't cheat. I mean, they gave me a stock car from the factory. And the other one is a stock car from the factory, but it has this huge rack going all the way across the front. It clips to the 2 front quarter panels, goes up over the fenders and over the hood, and it's got 4 cameras on it. And you can't see a bloody thing. And I'm supposed to drive this car flat out on a racetrack with cameras poking in my face and another one poking down by the rear wheel and another one shooting out front. And in 2005, these weren't cameras, these were cameras. And so that car drove like a pig. It had, I came out and I asked the producer, I said, am I supposed to drive both of these? And he said, yeah. I said, am I supposed to drive both of them fast? And he said, yeah. And I said, that one okay. How much does that camera rig weigh? And he goes, no, I don't know, maybe 300 pounds. And I'm like, oh, this thing is going to be a disaster. So I take the camera car out, and sure enough, the camera car just plows straight forward. I mean, the understeer is terrible. It drives like a pig. That's not the car's fault. The Lancer Evolution 9 is a great car, but not with 300 pounds loaded up over the front tires. It's not balanced for that. So I drive it as best I can, and then they get the shots they need, and they've got a big jib following me everywhere. And every time I get out, I'm in my racing suit, and they're powdering my face down and wiping the sweat away because I'm driving the car pretty hard. And we do this for like a week. Then we get to a lunch break, and they've got a bunch of Mitsubishi executives there. And a bunch of guests line up, 8, 10 people maybe, not tons. And they're like, will you give us a ride? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a ride. And I asked every one of them, you tell me on a 1 to 10 scale how fast you want me to go. If you want me to go super fast and fly around here, that's fine. And they're in the front passenger seat. And every one of them said drive a 10. Every one, every guest. And I said, okay, now here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to be able to hear you very well while I'm driving at speed. And if at any point in time you feel uncomfortable, don't tap me, don't hit me, don't wave at me, don't holler at me. All I need you to do is reach forward and tap the dash. And I'm going to look over and you give me a number. Take it down to a 7, take it down to a 5, take it down to an 8, whatever you do, and that's what I'll do, no problem. So we got the first guest in there, and we didn't even make one lap. And they're banging on the on the dash. Slow down, give me a 4. And then we take the next guest in, same thing. Next guest in, same thing. And then we got the highest ranking guy that was on site from Mitsubishi, one of their executives in the car, and he didn't even make half a lap. And I thought he was going to punch a hole in the dash. He was hitting it so hard. And so I knew, we weren't going off track or doing anything stupid, but you asked me, do you hire a race car driver to come drive a race car, and you tell him to drive 10/10ths? Well, guess what? So that was a lot of fun, and every single guest tapped out except one lady. And she was over there like, yes, go. So we had a really good time and drove both cars. The production company I was working with was just fantastic people. I really enjoyed the experience. But something funny happened afterward. I get back and several weeks go by. And I'm at my house in Indianapolis working away in my office, and the phone rings and I pick it up and it's the production company. And they say, did you happen to wreck either of those cars? And I said, no. They said, are you sure? And I said, yeah. How could I not be sure? You had 4 cameras on one car. You had cameras stationed at every corner on the entire track the whole week. I could not have so much as put one tire off. You'd have it on camera angles from several different directions. No. And he goes, well, I said, why are you asking? You got to know this. And he goes, well, I was pretty sure too, because I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything I missed. And I said, well, what's going on? And he goes, well, I got a call from Mitsubishi. And he said, I'm not sure yet, but he said, they told me they're going to crush both cars. And I said, those are pretty expensive sports cars, and they're going to crush them? And he goes, yeah, not one. He goes, they're going to crush both of them. And I said, why? And he said, well, they got back and their engineers take a look at it and they measure all the gaps between the body parts, between the fender and the door and between the window and this, that, and the other. And they said the gaps were off by several thousandths of an inch through the whole car. And I said, well, you hired a race car driver, you took him to a racing track, and you told him to drive the car. So that's what I did. I said, but you've got every single lap that I did all week on video. So just look at it. And he goes, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, thanks, click. Never heard from him again. So I think I'm guilty of first-degree murder by killing 2 really nice Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9s. I'll never know for sure. But I would have taken them, even with the tolerances off. Those were nice cars. They were fast, they were tight, they were predictable. They would push in a corner if you really, really drove them hard enough. The front broke loose first, not the back. But that's the way you need to build a street car. You know, you can't have street drivers out there overdriving the car and then they spin out. You need to put a push into a car. So they did. It's an excellent car. I'd still drive one today, but there's 2 less Lancers in the world because of me.
Just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Great vibe.
Just do it!